Hello everyone, how you doing? And welcome back to Skye and Evan in the morning. And today Evan, it was your recommendation. It was a lovely little Christmas movie from the 90s called Home Alone that I had never actually seen before.
Yeah, it's funny you talked about how like in Brazil this isn't like as much of a classic gotta see it because
Mm.
I grew up with this movie when I was a kid. This is just like Groundhog Day where I watched it damn near every year and it's so nostalgic for me. It's like The Sandlot's another movie that's a little bit similar to that where I just always remember the movie being around
Mm-hmm.
when I was a kid, so it's just an all-time classic for me, but it's also a movie that's gotten mixed reviews. There was the longest period of time where it had a Rotten Tomato, like a rotten score on Rotten Tomatoes, and Rotten Tomato scores are bullshit. And it also Roger Ebert also had weird opinions about the trilogy, and overall the critical reception was mixed. But I don't think I've met anyone that dislikes Home Alone, and I genuinely think it's a great film, just
Mm.
solidly put together and really, really good.
Yeah. I my review was saying that the movie would be passable if not for the church scene. The church scene makes this a great film.
Yeah, it makes the whole movie a grand slam.
Yeah.
Like it brings
That
it
it is the
because
scene that makes the entire film work because it's like you get everything the movie's doing and it's hitting the beats all right, and it's the third act is fun. Like extremely like slapstick, like over the top. Like I messaged you, as like it's funny how most of these traps will like murder a normal
yeah,
human. It's very
lethal
funny.
like
Yeah. The
neck
fucking
snapping. There's so
blowtorch
many.
was so fucking funny, and then the fucking iron
There's
falling on the guy's face was like, okay, yeah, he would be dead, but it's part of the fun.
I do that in movies when I'm watching sometimes. Sometimes there's something that happens, like a character will like fall off a car and like hit a brick wall or something, and I just go death.
Yeah,
Like the scene where Batman escapes in the Batman by like paragliding off and
and
he
then he
hits
hits a
the
bridge, right? Yeah,
yeah, I just said death. And there's so many like that in this where it's like, dude, you would die from that. It's
yeah,
like, but they lead into the slapstick enough, and Harry and Marv, they're like quasi like cartoon characters. It's the
yeah,
way they characterize them and the way the performances are.
yeah. There's the straight man and the goofball idiot. The fucking gold tooth was such a funny detail too. But anyway, everything about it is just like it's a fine movie. But
Well,
the church scene is the one where it like brings it all together. It makes all of the movie, like all of the story, mean something, and it makes it feel like a Christmas movie. You know what I mean? Like it
yeah.
feels Christmassy, of like you know like learning the value of family, of spending time together. And it's not just Kevin that learns that he appreciates his family, it's his mom as well, who also learns to appreciate him because
Well,
she was also like not treating him great. None of his family was before. So yeah.
Well, I was about to say, like, Kate is the other aspect of this movie that I think makes it special. Is that she, like, the second she realized they forgot him, she's like
Uh-huh.
destroyed. She refuses to leave the airport, and she spends the entire
Yeah, she
movie
says, what kind of a
desperately trying to get
mother am
back.
I? But
Yeah,
yeah, and I love I love that they all get at the house basically at the same time. It's like, oh yeah, we got the
yeah,
morning flight that you didn't want to wait for it. But I thought that was like such a nice detail for her character, that she did all of this just like because she was so desperate, but it didn't actually like change the outcome. It was just like
yeah.
mother desperate. It's the same as like him yelling "mom" and then her hearing like feeling that in the airplane, like a the service in the forest. I thought that was hilarious, and I thought I was like,
Yeah,
yeah, that's a great detail. It feels like a it's very neat, like children's movie type of thing. You know what I mean? Like of like, yeah, the mom has like this extra sensory protective feeling towards their children. I like that.
there's a lot of great details like that. Another one that I love is that like when she screams Kevin, you get him going down the stairs in the
Yeah.
sled, like doing something really dangerous, and it's like, oh my God, what is he up to? But the editing in this movie is really good,
Mm-hmm.
and there's so many clever details. Like I love movies that reward rewatching and you just pay attention to the details. One of my favorite parts of this movie is the fake movie, Angels with Filthy Souls, and its implementation. Okay, so that the clip is so funny. The idea is supposed to be the idea is supposed to be that like he's watching some like Scorsese-esque like traumatizing like an 8-year-old shouldn't be watching it thing, but they ham the performances up so much and it is just so blasted funny, the laughing while just firing the machine gun. And the thing there is it scares the pants off of Kevin initially, but then later he turns that back. He
Yeah.
uses that
He uses it to buy
on the
pizza, and then
guy.
he uses it to scare the fucking burglars. It's so funny.
Yeah, like twice he uses something that initially scared him to scare someone who's after him. So, and
Here's your change, you
that's it.
filthy animal. Keep the change, you filthy animal. So fucking
Yeah.
good.
Amazing, fucking iconic. And yeah, and it's a great story about like bravery and being smarter than bullies, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, that church is like Marley. It's one of those things. A friend of mine compared this to oh God, it's not what is hold on a second. What the fuck is the name? That's yeah, Boo Radley. I from To Kill a Mockingbird. I need to see the movie actually. Like I haven't, and it's been a while since I've read the book, but that's a character that is seen as kind of like a creepy person in the neighborhood. That's like people just think they're off and no one really likes them, but they like save the day in the third act. It's an interesting idea for a character. It's the same thing here. Like Marley's the one who ultimately gets the bad guys in the end. But this scene also, because initially, and again with the theme of fear and like being a kid and certain things that seem innocuous, like terrifying you, there's just this old neighbor who looks kind of off and looks a little creepy, but he's just a guy. He's just a guy who's kind of lonely, and
Hmm.
it's because of everything that happened with his son and his granddaughter, and the fact that you can have a dialogue scene between someone who's like 65 and a kid who's 8 years old, and they connect so well
Yeah.
through this and just share earnest dialogue. Like scenes like this just really don't happen all that much in modern movies. For one,
Well,
there's not a lot of movies about kids anymore. I wish there were, but
yeah.
it's so well handled and mature and treats like the kid with dignity.
Well, that's what I said to you, that I like it is so rare that like movies treat kids like they're people. Usually treats them like, like they're less than people. Like, it's a whole thing, like the way just in real life America, like people aren't like children aren't treated like people. They don't have like rights or everything. They all belong to the parents. But this movie treats Kevin as if he's like actually like obviously he's not as smart as an adult, but he is a person, and they value his perspective in the same way they value the old guy's perspective. And it's part of the thing, like their differences in life experience, like they impact one another, like their perspectives and why they are valuable. Because it's him saying like, oh yeah, if my dad called, I for sure would answer, especially if it's close to Christmas. It's like it's just like a
Yeah.
very like innocent child way to look at it, but it's also just like very true. You just like you may have bad blood with your parent, but it's you would
Well,
value them thinking about you and caring about you, especially near Christmas. Which is part of what I said about the film feeling like a Christmas Eve film, of like giving the value of like finding the love in your family and everything.
well, and that's what's so perfect about it is regardless of age, everyone knows what it's like to be upset with your dad.
Yeah.
And it's universal. It applies to anybody and anyone can understand it. And it's just, what I love too is that he doesn't explain what the argument is about. I like to think he forgot what it was about.
Mm.
Like it doesn't matter. It just they had a falling out. They said things they didn't mean to each other, and now both of them are probably
Well,
afraid to
the
talk to each
thing
other. Figure
that
they both don't want anything to do with each other.
the way I saw it, it wasn't even that he doesn't remember, is that the argument didn't really matter. That's the way I
No,
understood
yeah,
it. Like he remembers why, but it's just like it doesn't matter. It was stupid. What matters is the outcome, and it's was kind of that whole thing of like, well, it's the plot of this film. Where you're like, you say something you don't mean, and you commit to it because you're scared
yes,
of not committing to it. Like you're scared that like, oh, you said something hurtful and then you have to apologize. So it's the same thing of like, Kevin McAllister say that he didn't want a family. Like
yeah,
that moment of anger where you say something you don't mean, and the Marley, he committed to it. Like, hey, I'm not gonna see you again, my son.
Y- yeah.
But Kevin is like, no, all I want is my family back. So he, finds that value of like, you just didn't mean it. Like, it's fine to say things in anger and like take them back and apologize, and you know,
Yeah, and again, like everyone's been upset with your family and
yeah,
everyone's had an argument like that, and it's just the building. It's like it's so funny too. It's yeah, like 12 minutes that builds to that one moment, but it's like a bunch of stuff happens. It's a stressful time right before a vacation, and he's basically sent to his room, and that's the reaction. Like, I don't want a family. I don't want any family. Families suck. And and as well as that, like it's just so well put together from Kevin's perspective of just at first, it's like this really funny indulge moment, but it only lasts like less than 10 minutes, you know? It's not long before it's like, yeah, this isn't a fucking game. I miss
yeah,
my mom and there's fucking burglars around and I got to get groceries
yeah. He
and
has fun at first, and
it's
then he's like, oh fuck, mom, I need you to like come back, please.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's it's a shockingly mature film and it's really funny and it's yeah, so much about the movie works. And as well as that, I gotta mention John Candy. I think he's in like 3 scenes in total, but my God, what an incredible just pop out. He's literally in like the background of the airport with Kate, and he shows up the Kenosha Kickers, the whole band, like polka band. Oh my God. Incredible, just small little performance there, just like showing up out of nowhere, like John, like work with John Hughes, and yeah. Oh my God. I love this movie. I love like damn near everything about it, and it's yeah, it's just a movie that I feel is really unique, really good Christmas vibe, like you said. And yeah, the scene at the church and the ending with like that last moment where you see Marley reuniting with his granddaughter. That's what drives it home. That's what makes the
yeah.
story
I
fit.
mentioned it to
That's
you. I
what
was like,
connects.
oh, they showed him. They showed Marley seeing his son on Christmas. That's like that's a beautiful way to end the film. Beautiful.
And that's the other thing as well is the themes they work. It's such a great family movie because the themes work if you're 10 years old and they work if you're 60 years old.
Hmm.
No matter how old you are, there's something you can draw from this movie about like fighting with your family, reconciling, and trying to do your own thing, be on your own, and just like separate yourself from your family. But in the end, you always love your folks, like regardless of if you fight, they're your family. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a nice film. Like I said, it's lovely. That's just the word to describe it. It's just a lovely film. Like you put it, you just feel warm inside. You're like, yeah, it's just a silly smile. Like, yeah, nice film. Very much, very cool. Thumbs up.
Oh my God. Just surface we're getting to like surface level details now, but it is so funny just intrinsically that Kieran Culkin is in this film. Like it's
Yeah.
one of those things like Macaulay is the star, but it's so funny like having seen him in Succession and him getting an Oscar. It's like
To be fair, Macaulay
he's the
Culkin
like
is kind of getting back into acting now, isn't
yeah,
he?
yeah, like a little bit. I feel like he's easing into it, which like is like well within his rights, but
Yeah.
I would love to see him get back into the fold with like a solid movie because people are on his side. People like Macaulay Culkin and him on Red Letter Media and the like. People are
Yeah, I love when
gunning for his
he
comeback.
he um he's also um he's also had a few cameos in a a news show that I watch called Some More News. It's fun. I like that he does these kinds of things like on YouTube and everything. Yeah, he was in Zootopia
Yeah.
too. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I still haven't. Apparently, it's doing amazing at the box office. It's one of those like Disney just. It was
Somehow it's the
basically going
same
to make
as
money.
Moana, no, Moana 2 that made a gajillion
Yeah.
dollars and not a single
Well,
person in the world has seen it.
well, another example of that is like didn't Inside Out 2 do amazing?
You did.
I didn't hear I didn't hear any. Inside Out is like honestly one of my all-time favorite films. Like the message like speaks to me. I didn't hear anyone talking about Inside Out 2. Like I didn't see any clips like
I
on
haven't
social
seen any
media or
clips either,
anything.
but I know my therapist watched Inside Out 2 when she told me to watch it. She said she loved the first one, and then she went to watch the second one with her kid, and that's kind of it. She was like, "Oh yeah, it's very nice. It's not as good as the first one, but it's nice." So yeah.
I'm sure it'll be. I'm sure Ki Hu Kwan will be great, and I'm sure I would see it even just for Macaulay Culkin alone.
Mm.
So I didn't hate the original. Oh man.
But yeah,
Just another detail to mention. I love John Williams' score. It's yeah, he just
yeah.
what like, John Williams
John
did the
Williams did
music
this.
for this.
It's
Like
so funny.
yeah,
I was seeing the opening credits and I was just like being flabbergasted. I was like, like Joe Pesci,
yeah,
then fucking John Williams, fucking John Hughes wrote the script, directed by Chris Columbus. I was like, dude, what the fuck is this? Like,
what
you're just getting the Avengers to be
what
part of the crew of this film.
Well, one of the funniest like jokes from an adult perspective about this movie is this was, I kid you not, the same year as Goodfellas. So like I and Joe Pesci has that like it sounds like he's like trying to suppress the Scorsese like mouth, but it's just so funny like that it was like the same exact time that he was like working with Martin Scorsese that he did this, and he's really funny in this performance. I
Yeah, no.
absolutely love him. Him and Daniel Stern. It's like you said. It's the short slightly smarter guy and like the just complete idiot who's a little
Mm.
bit taller. It's a cartoon cliche, but they lean into it so perfectly, and their chemistry is so perfect that you can buy somewhat that these two men could exist. But oh my God, the slapstick in the third act, it's just second to none.
It just reminded me of the Wet Bandits thing. It was so funny. It's our calling card.
They
Thanks to you
almost run
leaving
into
the
Kevin.
taps on in every house. Now we know exactly which houses you hit. I was laughing
Yeah.
so much. Remember what the Wet Bandits, WET.
What?
Shut up.
Oh my
uh,
God. Yeah, but that's the thing. They lead into it in any other movie would try to make a joke of it, would try to lean into it and act like they're funny. It's the sincerity of it. It's the fact that they like treat them seriously and in this like as much as you can treat someone who's meant to be a little bit of a cartoon.
hmm
Because there is something cartoonish about the third act,
Yeah.
but they
Well,
make it
it's the
work.
same thing
They
of
really do.
like they are treated seriously in universe, but obviously we know they are like goofballs. Um, but like they're not like cartoonishly like incompetent. I don't know. Like it feels like a Tom and Jerry basically. Like where like everything that's happening, it's
Uh-huh.
cartoonish, but the in-universe logic is like no, but you see that it's all like I don't know. It treats them with more respect than I think like a lot of films that rip this off do. I mean, I saw Drew Gooden a few years ago made a video about Home Alone clone where instead of a
Well,
kid it was a dog. It's very stupid. It's a great video. But it just reminds me of that because of the burglars in that are just like not not funny at all. Like they're just very treated like the stupidest people on earth, and like just like they basically fall into the traps. Like it's part of the thing as well. I think that's why if
Well,
it hits different here is like, oh no, he wants us to follow him. You know, like let's do something else, and then they get ahead of him and grab him, and then they need
yeah.
Marley to save Kevin. So it's like, oh, so you know, like these aren't complete idiots. These are, I don't know. It adds a little something instead of just being like, oh, you know, just like stupid goofballs that'll get undone by this kid. Because ultimately, Kevin wouldn't have won if not for Marley. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And again, that ties into the theme and ties into the ending is the two of them kind of share an arc about what they're going through with their family and like what they're fighting for. So another thing to talk about actually is the sequels. You were like proposing potentially doing, it looks like you got caught up in the Western
Yeah.
thing, but years back when they made the Disney Plus movie Home Sweet Home Alone, which no one remembers, and like
I
as
was
they
going
shouldn't,
to
it's
ask you
awful.
about that one because like we've talked about how like these like children's movies where you know the kid is the main
I
character and everything. Like I am curious what how Home Sweet Home Alone is, like how it treats the kid, how the story
well,
is. I was wanted to ask you about it.
what it does. So one of probably the worst part of that movie is that his family does not give a shit. So this is also a problem in Home Alone 2 because in Home Alone 2 they do the Die Hard 2 thing where they lean into it. They're like, how could this possibly happen again? I'm like, I know, right? It's like, how could we make the same mistake twice? I'm like, yeah. And you know, there is humor to be in that when you know, like the filmmakers are like, yeah, we're basically doing it again, just a different location, different year. But it only goes so far. And the problem in Home Alone is it's earnest in the original movie that Kate is concerned about Kevin, but with the sequel, when you constantly are leaning into, oh my God, we did it again, you lose something character wise. And his family does not give a shit inside of Home Sweet Home Alone. You don't have the agency with Kate. The movie's far shorter. And moreover, the kid messes around the entire movie. He doesn't miss his family. And because of that, he doesn't go through an arc that feels satisfying. It just feels like he stays the same. It's a shockingly cynical movie. Like I would never recommend it. It's one of those movies like I'm like of just don't hate watch because it's just like it's not worth your time. It's so cynical and gross to watch. It's so funny. People are always talking like Last Jedi or movies that are like objectively bad, but it's a mean-spirited, awful movie. Like yeah, you'd be stunned if you watched it. It's really, really bad. But actually, so one of the sequels, like I'm mixed on Home Alone 2, but Home Alone 3, it's a little bit of what you talked about with the villains. My problem with Home Alone 3 is the villains are actually really competent in that movie. They're, believe it or not, they're like spies. They're like people that are like that sell like secrets for money. It's really weird. But basically they're looking for something and need to break into a bunch of houses to get it, and it happens to be in this kid's neighborhood. It's more like Rear Window than Home Alone for most of it, but the third act when they go is full Home Alone. It's a little hard to buy because the villains were really competent until that point. But Home Alone's a weird IP because I don't think it warrants a sequel. I think it
Yeah.
works so well as a one-off, and it's not. Why did they make sequels? The answer is because they know
Money.
that if you stuff the third, well, yes, but also if you stuff the third act with a bunch of traps, you're probably okay. Like as long as you like, make a third act where there's a bunch of traps and like everyone's stumbling through and you get clever, then you can make that work. But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We've talked about the franchiseification of movies in the 80s and 90s a lot in the past few weeks. I don't know. I feel like there is something fun to be had with that. I think as well though that it would be probably better if it was like different families each film and not just like always Kevin. I don't know. Maybe, you know, leaning into it, maybe leaning into the idea of Like, oh no, it happened again. How did this happen again? Would be funny, but I don't know. I feel like it would be better with different families so you could explore different parts, like
Yeah.
different characteristics, because I think you've done everything you can in the first film with Kevin. I don't know if there's much
Well,
more to do with his character.
well, again, that's my problem. Like, I honestly think Home Alone 2 is overrated, and one of the reasons why is I don't think Kevin learns a good lesson in that movie. I think, because like you said, his arc is kind of done in the first movie, and he has an out. It's weird how Home Alone 2 is put together, but I feel like Kevin is a worse character in that movie than he is instead of this film. So I am. Can you picture a solid legacy sequel to this movie, similar to The Force Awakens? Do you
Well,
think it's possible?
did you see what Macaulay Culkin said about
Yeah,
doing
I did,
a
and
legacy
it's
sequel?
low key kind of ingenious. I think maybe not for a feature, but he's got the right idea. He's got the right
Yeah.
idea, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there is something that they could do with like a grown up Kevin McAllister and take care of his kid, and they could do something neat with that. So I don't know.
Well,
But
my thing is it would have to be him and his kid. It would have to
yeah.
be like it was almost like the Halloween sequels as well. Like I don't like those either, but I could the whole sense of like your grown up son or your grown up kid is the main character. I mean, it ties in with Marley as well because that's the thing. Like he asks like how old is your son? Like he's grown up. So
Hmm.
that would and that's my problem is I'm like I can see it just barely, but I'm like, is it enough for a movie? I'm like, probably not. But I'm like, God damn it. I want, it seems too possible, right? It seems like they could make that work. Something about that. I feel like I wish that they could pull that off because I think it could make something really great.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to make legacy sequels like cynically, but I can see a really earnest sequel to Home Alone, just including Kevin McAllister again, that does better than Home Alone 2 and doesn't just fill the third act with traps and make something that's kind of cartoonish and repeating the same formula of the original movie. Who knows, maybe one day, and like I said, maybe some short or some like, 10-minute, even an
I don't know.
advertisement or
You could
something
do
like
like a
that. Like,
40 minute like special. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
made
I
directly
can I
for
can see it.
Disney Plus or something.
Yeah, who knows? I'd love to potentially see it, but you never know.
Yeah. I mean, part of
But
the issue will be obviously, John Hughes is not alive anymore. Um, but yeah, I don't know.
well,
If you get Macaulay Culkin to like, I don't know, work on it, develop his idea, it could be something.
well, another hilarious thing about the Home Alone sequels, this is especially a problem in the new one, but a lot of this movie, there's a couple of movies like this that I've considered doing a video about this, about how the cell phone has destroyed the possibility for a lot of plots to exist.
Hmm.
Because for one, everyone has a 4K camera on them that within a second they can pull out and they can record everything. And as well as that, everyone has access to a phone. But like back in the 90s, like you wanted to call someone, you had to borrow their phone, like their landline, or you had to get a payphone. And I'm like, what's the plot in this? Like the phone lines are out. How'd that happen? A tree fell on it. Like, yeah, that happened in the 90s. But I'm like, nowadays everyone has a cell phone. So it's like you'd be able to call. Like, there's like almost no way that you wouldn't be able to call the kid
Yeah.
in a modern context. And it's just funny that a lot of plots are invalid. I always love the ending of The Silence of the Lambs where Clarice is after, like, spoiler alert, Clarice is after the villain in the end, doesn't realize that she's talking to him. And it's like, can I borrow your phone kind of a thing. It's like, even though she knows the game is up, but, and there's just no phone in the third act because it's like she doesn't have one on her and she needs to press on. So
Hmm.
yeah, I I don't know. I see the potential in Home Alone as an IP, but yeah.
Yeah. Reminds me of a cure for wellness where the solution was just that they were like up in the mountains. There was no phone signal there at the actual like house. But if you go into town, there is, and that's when they learn about the mysteries of the place. So yeah, you need to. Mike Flanagan has said this. I remember when I was watching the Hill House, the with the Blu-ray Hill House specials with commentary, and Mike Flanagan was saying that he hates cell phones, and like a big before then a lot of his well, before and after, but like a lot of his horror projects are set in the past because he just does not want to deal with cell phones because they ruin so much of like, especially horror
Well,
movies.
well, it's a problem for me as well with the screenplay that I'm planning to write with my brother. Is I part of it involves like stabbings and just it's just one of those things where like the idea of witnesses back in let's say like 1998
Hmm.
versus the modern context. I'm like, would you be likely to be caught if you stabbed someone as discreetly as possible back in the 90s or like the modern era? I'm like, all you need is one guy with one phone. And I'm just like, I feel like setting it in the 90s or early 2000s just so I don't have to deal with that. And like I said, it's just a funny plot element that writers nowadays need to think about because if you don't, then like that will come up or it might just be addressed. It might just be something people think about. I'm like, did no one see that? Did no one have their phones?
Hmm.
Did like why didn't they just call? So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, the cell phone. I mean, obviously it adds. It's each era, each decade has its own ups and downs in terms of like how to represent it in film. It's always interesting. It's not to say the cell phone has ruined filmmaking. It adds new challenges.
No.
Yeah, but it also adds some interesting dynamics you can have as well. So who knows?
Yeah, it all comes down to how good you are as a writer, just try to
Mm.
be creative to get around it. And like you were mentioning with Flanagan, all you need to do if you want is just set it
Set
in
in the past, yeah.
a time period where they didn't exist. But
Yeah.
there's limitations there too, like just depending on like the themes or like the
Yeah.
setting you want it to be in. People might want it to be a modern context, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, with Hell House it's set in the present. Well, half of it is anyway. So that was like one of the things he said, like, "Oh, I hate cell phones." But with Bly, for example, it was set in the past, and with, Ouija, Origin of Evil was set in the past, so he got around the cell phones in some of his projects, some he didn't. Oh, I mean, remember the Midnight Mass? What he did was just that because it's an island, they well, spoilers I guess, but the people who were involved in the conspiracy, I'm trying not to spoil too much, but they cut the phone lines in the finale
Yeah.
like deliberately. So yeah, because it's like an island that
Th-
needs that the to be like turned on, like it's an easier way to get around it. So there are ways to you know
Uh,
deal with that.
well, another example of that is a small town. That's another good
Mm,
way to lock characters down is to like just have it set in a small town.
yeah,
Like cell service being less reliable makes more sense in that context. So
yeah,
yeah,
but yeah, we really just got into like phone talk. Phones, how
yeah,
phones impact film.
they
Uh,
ruin everything.
yeah,
Well, so would you recommend Home Alone,
I
Skye?
very much would. I know 35 years late to the party or whatever, but I like it a lot. Very, very chill vibes, lovely little film. It does, obviously, the way people in the northern hemisphere see Christmas is different than down here because it is summer
Yeah.
now. It is boiling hot. I have a fan turned on right now, and for you, I imagine it's quite cold. In America, there are places that are just
Well,
snowing. So
I live in the land where there basically is no weather, where it's like always 70 degrees. So it's a little it's cold. It gets colder at this time of season, but yeah,
yeah.
in the West, it's definitely more of the cold season. So
Yeah, so like down south here it's not. So it's like we don't have that much of like a culture of watching these types of
Holiday.
movies, of like the holiday movie that, you know, all set in like snowy weather and all cozy and everything. Like we don't really have that. Like we don't have that culture in Brazil. So it's not the type of thing where I'm like, wow, I'm gonna rewatch this every Christmas, because it just doesn't feel like Christmas doesn't feel like this down here. It's
Yeah.
not the vibe that like any Christmas movie gives. Like it just doesn't work in Brazil. But I do really enjoy this film. I'm probably gonna rewatch it a few times. It's just not gonna be like a holiday thing, which is the point of me saying all that. Just like probably not gonna be a holiday tradition for me to watch it every Christmas, just because it's, you know, it's not how it works down here. But it's just such a lovely film, and I really, really, really enjoyed it, and I do think I'm gonna rewatch it many times in the future. So yeah, that was a good recommendation, Evan, and I imagine you would recommend it as well, right?
Oh yeah. Like I said, this is one of those films like Groundhog Day where I've seen it so many times that I just like I it's an all-time classic for me and I would recommend it to anybody. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Um. Okay.
You're up.
It is. I
What do you
am.
got on the chopping block, Skye?
Okay. So. Okay. Hold on. So this recording we're doing right now is gonna come out on the 24th, probably. So Merry Christmas tomorrow, guys.
Yeah, I was wondering if we could possibly squeeze in another Christmas movie around it, but like now that you said, I'm like, yeah, this like will probably be released right at Christmas.
Yeah, this
Great
is
timing on my part,
yeah,
actually.
this would be on the 24th. I am going to recommend another movie set around Christmas from what I've heard, though I don't know much about it. Um, I'm going in blind on this one, except for the fact that it has good reviews. It's Barry Levinson's directorial debut called Diner, a movie from 1982.
Diner. I don't know if I've Barry Levinson. Hold on.
Yeah. Barry Levinson's directorial debut. You know, the director of Rain Man and Good Morning Vietnam and all that stuff.
Huh.
I have heard many good things. I've heard it's set during Christmas, and so yeah, that's it. That's gonna be the last Christmassy film I recommend.
I I do not think I've heard of this before. Wow, this is I will go in blind. I Yeah, I've seen some of Levinson's films. From what I remember, I'm mixed on his movies actually.
Mm, yeah.
But
I
yeah,
was
there'll
actually
be
considering, because we just watched the John Hughes movie, to recommend The Breakfast Club because I love that movie, but I'm gonna hold off for a while on that.
we'll we'll get there one. Oh man, it's been too long since I've seen that film.
So
Man.
so fucking good.
All right, Diner apparently
Diner.
set around Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay. I have not seen this on any Christmas list that I remember, but I it's probably like Eyes Wide Shut being like a technically Christmas
Well,
movie.
it's
It does take
fucking
place on Christmas.
though. I recommended Tales from the Crypt because I thought that was a Christmas movie, and so maybe this is gonna be the same vibe. Who knows? But yeah, Diner.
Will do.
All right. Well, folks, thank you very much for watching. Uh, yeah, this will probably be the last one in 2025. No, because the other one will come out on the 31st. Okay, so never mind. Just Merry Christmas, everyone. Enjoy your Christmas. Go watch Home Alone. Drink some hot chocolate. Or if you're in the Southern Hemisphere like me, then sit in front of a fan and try not to boil
Put a
alive.
fan in front of your fireplace next
Put a fan in front of the fireplace. Yes.
to
Yeah. But yeah, Merry Christmas. I hope you have very happy, merry holidays. And we will catch you next week to end off our 2025 with Diner. So yeah. See you later, folks.
See you later.